Jayhawk fans, this is Bill Self. If you have an urgent orthopedic or sports injury, the University of Kansas Health System can see you quickly. Request an appointment at kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine.
They beat the Cowboys. Trust me, I'll come in here that next Thursday and be like, hey, you know what? Give me the KC Wolf outfit. Let me get on top of the
rah.
Yeah, exactly.
2 days early.
Welcome back to the Border Patrol on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Where is the KC Wolf outfit? Jeff Chadilla from NFL Network and NFL.com.
I actually saw him in a parking lot with Tyrann Mathieu this morning handing out turkey, so I couldn't get the costume, but I will definitely sing some praises.
That's
today.
right.
I will sing some praises.
That's right. The Chiefs beat the Cowboys 19-9. Jeff, my goodness. You would think that most of the tweets that I'll be getting during and after that game would be focused on the Chiefs winning and celebrating and good feelings, but the majority of the tweets... What's Jeff Chadilla going to say?
They're looking for me?
Oh, they are looking for
smoke?
you. They're waiting for you patiently.
I don't remember smoke.
Laying in wait.
Jeff?
I said open up the phone lines, but Jake wouldn't do it.
Oh, that's a bridge too far. Jake, yes or no?
Hell no.
Okay,
Just send tweets to Jake.
Just tweet.
If you tweet at Jake Goody
we got a
or
text line.
at SSJWHB,
912-913-4810.
that sounds...
913-912.
913-912-4810.
There you go.
If you have any questions or comments,
I'll read them
to
too.
Jeff Chadilla from NFL Network and NFL.com. Let's start with what we saw on Sunday between the Chiefs and Cowboys. Chiefs win 19-9. And you wrote about this Chiefs defense for NFL.com. For those that haven't read it, tell people what you wrote.
I gave them love. I said, look, you can't sweet love, yeah. You can't really, look, I could sit here and upset Jake with comments about Tyron Smith not playing and Amari Cooper not being there and CeeDee Lamb. I'm not going to do that.
It wasn't another gift?
I'm not going to do that. It wasn't a gift. The Raiders might get a gift this week, but I won't do that.
They won't take advantage of it. They won't
return.
Because the way they played, I think they would have beaten the Cowboys with those guys playing. And so...
Now that right there is a statement maybe I didn't expect. You've come a long way. Jeff just said, even if those guys have played the way the Chiefs played, the Chiefs still would have won the game. Now we can do business.
Here we go. Business, huh?
Let's get it.
Window is open.
Yeah, that's right. Open for business now. Go on.
So, but yeah, man, look, they played the way they played the week earlier, which is the way they have to keep playing, which is this isn't about, they're not coming for coronations now. They're coming for cage matches. You know, they're coming with a sense of urgency. I thought they were the more physical team. They were the more focused team. They were the more prepared team. They all played Dallas. I coached them in all respects. And when you play that way, look, they scored 19 points. What they got with 41 the week before. Mm-hmm. And we talked about that 2 weeks earlier about can this offense keep doing it. They got 41, they got 19, but they still won the game. I think in a more impressive fashion because they had to fight to do it. I think, if anything, epitomized, I think two possessions epitomized this game for me when they get a strip sack. Micah Parsons gets a forced fumble and a fumble recovery off a sack of Mahomes, and then they get the interception. Ball goes off Kelsey's hands, and 27, I forget who he is, for the Cowboys, returns it. Byron Pringle runs him down. They only get, 6 points out of that?
3 points is all they got because Ward intercepted the one ball.
3 points.
I mean, that's the defense stepped up every time.
Yeah, and so I think that's more. I say all the time, defense is it's communication and it's technique, but a lot more of it is just hustle and pride and toughness, and they showed all those things again. So I'm still not going to say I don't think it's an elite defense. I think the Patriots are an elite defense. I don't think it's a good defense. I think Arizona has a good defense. I think it's a middle-of-the-road defense that probably underperformed earlier in this year and maybe overperforming now. But at the end of the day, if you're winning games, that's all that really matters. It doesn't really. No one's going to go back and say, well, they didn't have Aaron Rodgers in this game, or Saquon Barkley didn't play in that game, or Mark was. The wins only matter in the final.
It's about the alphabets they like to say out there.
Yeah.
We'll sprinkle a few texts in as we go from the 816. Let the excuses begin, Jeffrey. We know you'll pick the Chiefs to lose the bye game. That's not true.
You won't pick the Chiefs to lose during the bye.
No. Tell us how the crow tastes.
Stop right there, though. You kid about that. Let's hope there's no losses during the bye week, because bad things that happen during the bye week.
You got any funny ones in there?
Let me find this other one.
No, I've read them. No.
Okay.
No, there was one about they want you to cut the crust off of Pioli's PB&J.
Wow.
I don't understand that one either.
There's also some good tests saying that Chadilla is one of the best guests all week.
Yes, all that stuff.
Thank you.
And listen, Chiefs fan here, people need to chill on Chadilla. He's got an opinion and doesn't run from it.
Look, here's the
I
deal.
love Chadilla's comments on the Chiefs. It shows me why I shouldn't day drink. I don't understand that one.
Why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you day drink?
I don't know. These are
people you want to call in here, Jeff.
That's it.
No,
how about this one? We still love you, Jeff. Go Michigan, beat Ohio State.
Ooh, damn straight.
You've got a damn ally out there.
You need that.
Right. That's my mom out there. My mom listens every now and then.
Suck it, Jeff. That one's not good. That one's not good.
So, look,
it's not even creative.
And I get plenty of responses as well. That hey, Jeff is just telling it like it is and telling the truth. And
chill on
Chiefs
Chadilla.
fans,
He's got an opinion and doesn't run from it. This is all respect for you,
Chiefs
Jeff.
fans don't want to hear it. And look, whenever you're being criticized, your team's being criticized, you don't like to hear it. And there's a difference between what we see on the debate shows and what we talked about earlier, where they don't really have an opinion. They just make something up to cause debate, right? And they don't believe it. You come in here and you give us a lot of facts along with your opinions. I feel like sometimes you do like to twist the knife into my side when you see it. It pains me so much, right? But hey, look. Early on in the season, a lot of things that you said came to fruition, and they weren't playing well. But now, if people doubt it, reading the first part of the column that you wrote, you say this wasn't about the Chiefs facing a team missing some players. This was about a defensive line that came out there and basically kicked ass.
Yeah. And so, look, I get it, look, man, and I tell people all the time, man, you go to Seattle when they were rolling back in, 7-8 years ago, or Baltimore when they won their last championship, or other cities, you go on and talk on the radio. If you say anything that is close to not being 100% behind whatever the consensus belief is about the team, that they're going to win 8 Super Bowls or dominate this team, it's like you're a hater. And so I think that comes with the territory. But I think, to be honest with you, I think every encounter I've ever had with a listener or somebody who knows me in this town has been positive. And like I tell people all the time, I love seeing the Chiefs win because my family's happy, my son's happy, you guys are happy. It's cool. But I also know that you got to tell the truth. And when a team's not playing well, I'm not a fan. So I can't sit here and be like, yeah, this happens, that happens, you're not seeing this. It's like, this is what I see. And if I see something positive like I saw the last 2 weeks, I say it's a positive. I don't think, again, they still have to do a lot of things. They're not winning a championship based off beating Dallas. Like I said to Todd in the hallway, no one's getting a ring off this game. Mm-hmm. But I think it would be remiss to not say that they are one of the 3 most impressive teams in the AFC right now. I put New England, the Colts, and the Chiefs in the same category. Nobody is playing better football right now than those 3 teams in the AFC.
Now, last week...
And they were all in last place at one point.
Right. Last week when we talked about this, I said I still thought the Chiefs, coming off their last couple of wins, I think they're the best team in the AFC now. I feel even stronger about that based on what we saw from Buffalo. Tennessee, that was ridiculous losing to Houston, and I think they're going to fall apart, and they're going to lose. They're going to lose this weekend to New England.
Be careful making those kind of. I'm telling you right now, Be careful.
Without
don't
Derrick
get too far ahead of yourself.
I think they had some juice for a week or two.
Fraudulent now.
I think they're in trouble.
No Julio Jones.
I'm a believer in New England. You know, if Mac Jones can just play reasonably well, the Colts scare the hell out of me. Jonathan Taylor. That was a major league ass kicking
in Buffalo.
Buffalo's got some real problems. It feels like
they're going to start having doubts now.
Well,
too.
they thought they won the AFC Championship game in Arrowhead Stadium a couple of weeks ago. Then they realized they had a whole season left to play. And so it may have seemed ridiculous last week. I don't think it's ridiculous to say the Chiefs are the team to beat in the AFC.
I don't think there's a team to beat in the AFC. I think it's dangerous for the Chiefs to think that now.
But
I don't think it's about
like
climbing
danger.
up the hill anymore. I think Andy Reid said it best. It's about getting through each week at one at a time.
It's boring, but it's true.
It's boring, but it's true because ultimately, you look at, especially in the AFC, the 4 division leaders right now could all end up not winning their divisions. I can't remember the last time that's happened. It's probably been 20 years because you have to factor in New England just rolling over the AFC East. But New England and Buffalo in the East, all those teams in the North are locked up. The Colts could make a run on the Titans. The Chargers are a half game behind the Chiefs, and they're going to play each other. So all these teams who are on top could easily be in second place. Could easily be fighting for wild card spots as opposed to...
Because all the teams that are on top weren't on top.
We're on top.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been turned upside down. And so, if I've taken anything away from this season after 11 games, it's that I'm not going to write anybody off anymore. I'm not going to proclaim anybody the best team in the AFC because all that stuff is week to week now. You know, it's really... And I don't think Buffalo is going to disappear. I don't think the Titans are going to... They're too well coached. They have some injuries. If anything, that shows me that what the Chiefs were going through a month ago, now it's time for these other teams to go through some of that stuff now. And what you end up finding out is, do you have heart? You know, do you have toughness? You know, can you find a way to outlast the adversity and get yourself in position to be in the playoffs down the road?
Because for all the people that want to talk about who's been missing when the Chiefs have played these teams the past couple of weeks, then they have to go back and tell me about when Chris Jones was out and when Charvarius Ward was out and when Frank Clark was out and before they had Melvin Ingram. Willie Gay was out. That's a lot of defensive starters that were out the first month and a half of the season. That's a big deal.
Weren't those guys playing when they were playing Buffalo and Tennessee, though? Most of those guys?
Well, Ingram wasn't here yet, and so Chris Jones was still, I think.
Jones didn't play Tennessee, I don't think.
Well, he did. Was Chris Jones out?
See,
there have been so many injuries. I don't remember who was there and who wasn't.
Yeah.
But you have to have a team on the field for a few games to gel and get the chemistry together. And now, like Willie Gay, how many games he is? 4. What did Chris Jones miss? A couple. Ward missed 3. You bring in Melvin Ingram. There's besides the Chiefs battling back from adversity, there's real evidence there that, okay, they went through a whole lot of injury. They've come together now, and this is a real reason why the defense is playing better. Yeah. Not just who they've gone up against. It's now they have their full defense out there.
Yeah, and I don't know. Look, I think there's 2 ways to look at it. Are they a defense that's playing good, or are they a good defense that's just finally playing up to their potential? And so we'll find that all out in the final analysis. You know, it's still 6 games to go,
right?
3 playoff games. The Super Bowl to be played, but end of the day, all that matters is that you're winning,
right? And that's like nobody wants. But see, nobody wants to hear about those injuries. So I don't want to hear about the injuries the Chiefs are facing.
Yeah.
It all evens out over 17 games.
It does. And the only thing I'm saying about just, are they the best team in the AFC? I don't know if it matters. Because what does that mean right now?
It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
It means they're going back to the Super Bowl, Jeff. That's what it means.
Jeffrey Chidilla,
that's what it means.
From NFL Network is here. I do want to ask you about the offense, Jeff, because they have won 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
And the offense has played well once in those 4 games. And especially, whatever, tip balls, this, that, and the other. Patrick Mahomes was not responsible for a touchdown last week. Didn't run one in, didn't throw one. In these 4 games, he's had 3 games with whatever you think about quarterback rating, it's a measure, where he's had a quarterback rating in the 70s in 3 of these wins, which is a good sign for the team that they could win a game where he has not played well and the offense hasn't performed well. Broken, not broken, whatever. The Chiefs' offense has not been as good consistently as people expect around here. Has that been opponent-driven, Chiefs-driven? Can you put your finger on why it hasn't been able to be what people want?
Well, it's what is this, expectations? People have become so accustomed to 400-yard passing games like they had against the Raiders. 400 yards, 5 scores, up and down the field, big plays. And that's just, I said it 2 weeks ago, and it was like, oh, you're crazy. They're never going to, how could you say this? Teams are playing them to not put up those kinds of numbers. The Cowboys, without their two best pass rushers, played them that way. They're not going to be given those kinds of opportunities to put up those kinds of numbers. And so, again, I think it's better that they're embracing who they are right now. They're embracing the fact that they're going to win some ugly games. There's probably going to be some turnovers in there. They're not going to dominate a defense and just get up 14, 17, 20 points and just roll and coast. But I do feel like, as well as they're playing defensively, I wouldn't trust this team to make a championship run if the offense isn't playing at a higher level.
Yeah, they have to get better.
That's the whole key to the thing.
The thing that's kind of confused me a little bit is the script. The opening script has been great. They went down and scored last week. And then the Packers game, I think they scored the first when Giants game, they went down and the ball bounced off someone's face and ended up being a pick. But then after that, the wheels have a little bit fallen off in some of these games. Not the Raiders game, but these other games where they've won, which is great. That's the goal, the alphabets, right? Not the numbers. But why do you think in game they haven't been able to decipher it?
Well, I think I think the best comparison I can make, or the best analogy I can make, is that the Chiefs for the last 3 years have felt like a bunch of really good musicians who get together and have a jam session, and they're able to just vibe off each other and pick up on what somebody else is doing, and they just have a intuitive feel for where to take the music. And if you see really good musicians playing together, they can elevate the performance to a level of genius. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what's been going on. But now it's to the point where, okay, you got some new players involved. They're a little bit off. It's no different than Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham in Cleveland. Odell Beckham's been a talented player. Baker Mayfield's a competent quarterback, but they can never get on the same page. I just think a little bit different pass protection, maybe not as much trust in the offensive line, for Mahomes. Teams are taking away Tyreek Hill. They're being more physical with Travis Kelce. Other guys aren't getting open as quickly. The culture, the desire to go out and make the big play and dominate. These guys all have egos. And not just the players, but the coaches. And so you saw that with Dallas. And I'm not going to turn this into a big Dallas didn't play their best game. If you saw their A game, it'd be a different story type of narrative. But it was astonishing. You were there to see how Dallas played scared and played conservatively. And they went away from the run game, and they didn't feel like they could. They kept trying to they threw the ball 48 times in a game that they lost by 10 points. And so instead of trusting their game plans, trusting their weapons, it was like, we got to throw. We have all these plays we want to do. And sometimes you see them with Buffalo, too. You're seeing when they came in here, they were balanced. Now all of a sudden it's Josh Allen throwing the ball 50 times a game, and he's getting sacked, and he's trying to do too much. And I think so many of these offensive coordinators fall in love with throwing the football, all these plays they've designed, all these things they want to do to an opposing defense. And sometimes, as the Chiefs have learned, you got to keep it basic. You got to say it's okay to hand the ball off to the running back and let him gain 5 yards. It's okay to throw the ball to the running back in the flat and let him gain 6 yards. As long as you're moving the chains, that's going to keep you going. And so the best thing about the Chiefs' first drive was they mixed it up. They went to pistol formation on the goal line. They had things that they wanted to run that really set the tone for how they were going to be. They were going to be pragmatic. And there were some moments in there where Mahomes was, I think, I was sitting next to James Palmer, my coworker on the NFL Network, and he was following Mitchell Schwartz on Twitter, and he said Schwartz tweeted out something like, they've called 4 straight run plays. I know what they're supposed to run here, and Mahomes has checked the pass every time. Right. And so that stuff's going to happen. Because I do think that's still in their DNA to want to go out there and just embarrass somebody, kill somebody. But end of the day, you have to do what's best for your team, and they're doing that, whereas other teams aren't.
We have Jeff Chadiha from NFL Network and NFL.com in studio. Back after this on WHP.
Hey, Kansas City, it's the giving season, and I want to give you something. Listen to the end. This is Harrison with KC Solar Concepts, and right now you can go solar plus battery backup with us for no money up front and pay no payments until spring of 2022. Give us a call at 816-339-9872 or hit the website at kcsolarconcepts.com to set an in-person or virtual appointment. Now, mention this ad to get $750 cash back for the holidays.
Welcome back to the Border Patrol on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. Here's a good tweet from
tweet
Albert.
like supporting me, or a good tweet like
I think it's important to you. It's funny.
Okay,
I think it's kind of funny.
All right, I'll hear it.
Albert says, I'll be listening to this later on podcast. I'm on the road with kids, listening to their music and my wife's music. I appreciate Jeff Chadilla keeping me grounded. He's like my Chiefs mother-in-law. That's pretty good.
Okay.
You know?
That is funny.
But you do balance things out, because I go off the deep end. Here I am telling you, I don't think the Chiefs are going to lose again. So,
which is fine. I always laugh because I feel like woo! I'm one opinion out of millions in the world, and I appreciate.
But your opinion's important.
I guess. I don't know. I guess. But I always tell people this. Look, if I hated the Chiefs so much, I know a lot of people over there. Know a lot of people over for a long time. With Andy Reid, 2 decades. Eric Bieniemy.
Drop them names. Come on.
Way back. Dave Tobe. Kelsey. People in the building. Ted Cruz I've known since he was working as a number 2, number 3 PR guy in Carolina. So when Mark Donovan helped me out with a nonprofit thing, their president. So when those people come up to me and say, man, what are you saying? Or if Veach says that to me, I'll be like, okay, I probably need to check myself and think about what I'm saying. But they seem to respect me. And so I kind of take that as my gospel in all this.
That's your barometer.
That's my barometer. And so I'm cool with them. We know how it goes down. And I know, as I always tell people, especially with Eric Bieniemy, I guarantee you behind closed doors, it ain't pretty when they ain't playing well. It ain't. He's not up in there saying, you know what, Tyreek, I think you're really good. And Patrick, if you just throw the ball a little bit better.
Sort of funny moment in the game when they scored the second touchdown and Clyde Edwards-Helaire got the taunting penalty for pointing, which, whatever, the rules are the rules.
Stupid.
And they've agreed to this, right? And they go over to the bench, and Bieniemy was getting ready to, just rip him one, and the players all kind of gathered around. They shielded a little bit and got jumping around this little kind of mosh pit and fix it up because they're having fun.
Yeah.
But still, stuff like that kills Bieniemy because he knows how hard it is to go work that to get down there, and then you just follow the simple rule. If you guys have agreed, and Andy said this after the game, the players agreed to these taunting rules. They agreed to it. Yeah. And I'm sure Bieniemy, and they're lucky it's bye week because otherwise there'd have been a long film session about in the meetings.
But you know what? But that's just like, and you guys have been around sports your whole life. Most of the people I know in sports are very, very hardcore, honest and candid and brutal in their assessments of people and performances. And so I was laughing. Got a guy I know covers the Colts, and a week ago he was like, this ain't no playoff team. They ain't beaten nobody yet. This is, it's just like going off on them, and then they go out and kill Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And it's just like in every town, it either falls one or two ways. Either your team is horrible and can never do anything right, and it's completely off the rails, or they're the greatest thing that's ever walked, and no team has ever been this good. And it's just there's rarely a middle ground of people who are like, or those
especially
people
in Kansas City after they've been so good. You don't want to see the warts. You don't want to talk about the warts because right now people listen. A lot of people in Kansas City have Chiefs colored glasses on right now.
Chiefs,
right? Chiefs.
That's right.
Chiefs colored glasses.
I think
it's out there. I get
good,
it.
Though.
Yeah.
I think if you're real about it, if you're honest about it, you really look. That team that won the championship in 2019, they weren't the best team in the NFL that year. They had stretches there where they really struggled, but they won a championship because they responded well, right? Mm-hmm. They handled things well, and so I think that's always the most important thing. That's what they're showing now. They're showing the heart of a champion and how they play through this stuff.
So when things there was a tough stretch, and there's some Chiefs fans, and there's nothing wrong with getting on the bandwagon. There's nothing wrong, new Chiefs fans, whatever else, right? Those of us that have gone through it for our lives and decades, we know that that's nothing compared to how bad it could be when the Chiefs had the number 1 overall pick, the Pioli years, or in the 80s when the playoffs were just a pipe dream. I mean, we've seen bad football here, okay? And what we experienced was just a drop in the bucket earlier this season because things can get ugly around the NFL. Say, for instance, this clip that we're going to play right now. Let's crank this up, and then I'll describe what this is. Listen to this crowd and what they're chanting. a fire Nagy chant, right? You're thinking, hey, you know what? The Bears fans can do whatever they want.
Tough loss to the Ravens, right?
That was at the Chicago Bulls game last night.
Yeah.
Whoops. So that's what's going on right there. They're at the freaking Bulls game, and they're starting a fire Nagy chant. I figured you'd appreciate that, Jim. Welcome to the Chicago Bulls game. Fire Nagy! All right, then. It's all perspective, right? It's all expectations. It's all, the Chiefs are...
You can have what's going on in Vegas right now.
Nope.
Thank you.
They've been down this road with this franchise before. They've had death around it.
Right.
It's not. But again, that's what makes the NFL so great is that it inspires so much emotion, so much passion. When I'm traveling to games during the week, I see people getting on with all their different colors on. And it's like Gladiator. It's like people are going out to battle and they want to see their team win. So I totally get it. But I also know that that's only one team gets to be happy at the end.
So if you think that those chants were loud, let the Bears lose to the Lions on Thursday on Thanksgiving. It's Bears at Lions, which provides us
Jeffrey Chidia's Lions.
One of the most god-awful quarterback matchups in, just that you can have. I mean, Andy Dalton's fine, but nobody wants to see him. Nobody wants to watch Andy Dalton. His family probably, but no one else. No one is asking for this.
They may not ask for it.
Do you know who's starting for the Lions quarterback? Do you even know?
Dan Orlovsky?
Well, they'd probably be better off.
Might take him.
Tell him who. Old Timmy Boyle.
Yeah.
T-Boyle.
Is
that worse than Jared Goff?
I don't know who that is.
It's Tim Boyle. Jake, you got any thoughts on Tim Boyle?
Got him on your...
That's what we're going to see.
8th.
I think he might be their third string guy.
Yeah, he's their third string.
Yeah, because
kid out like Eastern or Western Kentucky or something.
Yeah.
Horrific. And so This
is why I laugh at you every time we start talking about the Lions in the preseason and the offseason and all this. These people who was it a couple years ago?
I was hopeful last year, not this year.
Around. It's just,
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And so they've got that going for them. That's a terrible game. And so Raiders at Cowboys, you think the Raiders can win that game? I think they're done. I think they've checked out.
You think they can't beat the Cowboys?
After watching them against the Chiefs and against the Bengals, they did not look competitive. I mean, this is a team that's lost their head coach, lost their last 2 first-round picks. The quarterback's not playing well. That's a lot to overcome, and now they're getting their asses kicked.
Yeah. Well,
It doesn't feel like...
If you would ask me about the Cowboys game last week after Mark Cooper went out, I'd have been a lot more skeptical of it. So to not have Amari Cooper and potentially not have CeeDee Lamb, I think the Raiders can win the game. I mean, I think it would be, given the context of it, the situation that they're going into where the Cowboys just lost a tough game on the road to the Chiefs, but the Broncos went in there and beat them. And the Broncos went there and beat them with the same kind of thing that the Raiders have going for them, which is a good running back and a good run game. I certainly think it's a winnable game.
Do the Raiders have what it takes as an organization to rally with everything they've gone through?
Well, I guess we're going to find out. I mean, but look at the Bengals before they played the Raiders. Look at the Chiefs a month ago. Look at the Colts a month ago. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think if we get into this realm where it's, this team is always going to be what they were because it's going to do what they've always done. This is who they are. I just think it's a different season. And so, I think I've seen teams lose 3 straight games and then go out and win. I just saw a horrible Houston team go to Tennessee on the road and beat them by 9 points.
Yeah.
Like, who was picking that game?
Well, it wasn't me.
I saw Jacksonville beat Buffalo.
Right. And that's what look, the Chiefs, that was the way they lost was bad against Tennessee, but they don't have a loss to a bad team.
No.
That's one thing they have avoided. They haven't lost to a bad team, and everyone else it seems they have.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that if we're going to either we're going to play the game of, hey, this guy's not here, this guy's not here, and then this game is more winnable for the other team, or we're going to say it doesn't matter. I think it matters when guys aren't playing.
I think the Raiders, it's different. I think they've checked out. I think they got a
5-5.
Well, what were they?
They were 3-0.
But things have happened since then.
Well, they lost their coach.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Car crash.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then they had a cornerback threatening to kill someone.
It's not like they're just trending downwards. They've cut 2 of their first-round draft picks. They lost their head coach. There's levels of teams are falling apart, and then there's traumatic.
I agree with you. I'm not saying that stuff isn't happening. All I'm saying is they're playing a team without
that's got some issues.
5 of their 7 best
I think
players.
I think
Well, the Raiders are on a short week too.
Yeah,
I think Elliott's playing. I think Lamb's playing.
Is Lamb playing? Or
yeah, I think so. I mean, from what
That's pretty fast.
I mean, they're a 7-point favorite. I mean,
do you think?
Let me ask you this: Are the Broncos better than the Raiders?
yes.
Well, yeah,
Right
now
Demonstrably.
Right now they are.
Well, I think they're. I don't think they've faced the same things. I don't think they've mentally checked out on the season.
I mean, what do you hang
nothing-
your hat on with the Raiders?
Like, what do you compare the Raiders situation to?
I think they've played well before. I think they've played well throughout the course of the season up until this point hit. So I'm not arguing that this stuff isn't happening or it doesn't affect them.
Right. But just look at the timing of what happened, when it happened, and then what's happened since then, right? They lost to the Giants. They got pounded by the Chiefs. Last weekend happened. It's like you follow trends, right? And then so when you ask me if they're better than the Broncos, that Broncos defense is legitimate. That's a legitimate defense.
Even without Von Miller.
Even without Von Miller.
I don't know.
But what I'm saying is, like, are they a better team than not much? But yeah, I think the trend is that the Broncos are a better team right now.
I guess the point I'm making is
the
what I keep
NFL's
making is that
bipolar.
NFL's bipolar. Yeah.
Right.
Anybody can be anybody. I don't think even with their issues, they're not capable of doing that, having a big upset.
Will the Saints beat the Bills?
No.
Will they sign Taysom Hill to another weird contract
No.
in the
Have you seen the
meantime?
Saints lately?
Is a man?
Have you seen the Saints offense?
Has a man been paid more not to play quarterback than Taysom Hill apparently is? Like, I don't understand.
He's
He's ready now. He's ready now.
I don't even understand these contracts. What is their infatuation with this guy?
What's the point of
This is
this?
their salary cap. He's
hilarious.
their big salary cap wild card. Let's go to Taysom and sign another extension and get the numbers figured out.
Kicking the rock down the hill.
Well, those are the boy.
$50 million in a hole next year.
Pun intended.
All six teams involved in the Thanksgiving Day and night games are coming off of a loss, and so that should be very interesting to watch that tripleheader on Thursday. We'll break. When we come back, I want to get your picks on some really important games. This is a terrific lineup of games on Sunday.
Well, what about Saturday? Let's not gloss over Saturday with Jeff Chadilla.
Now,
You got a big game on Saturday.
That's how we finish.
We both have big games on Saturday.
That's how we
Big
finish.
games on Saturday.
And boy, I'm going to tell you,
Big
I don't
games
know
in
what
Bedlam.
Yeah.
the hell happened in Michigan State against Ohio State.
Talk
What
to
was
Teicher about that.
Did you make any phone calls after that?
I didn't even say anything
did
to
you
him
make
about
any
it.
I'm just glad
phone
my
calls
team put 59 up, so they scored more points than Ohio State did.
That didn't look right to me. Something happened.
Similar
in Michigan
competition.
State.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this on WHB. All right, let's get to some important games that'll be taking place while the Chiefs are enjoying their bye week. All right, AFC playoff implications. Let's start with the noon games. Steelers at Bengals. Who you got, Jeff?
It's a tough one. Steelers play the Chargers tough Sunday night. But they're still so banged up on defense. You know, I'll take Bengals. I feel like the Bengals are making their push. They've had their adversity. They're making their push to get back into the mix here.
Titans
That'd
and
be a big
Patriots.
That'd be a big one.
I'm high on the Patriots right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is Obi-Wan taking on Luke Skywalker. I don't think Luke Skywalker has it right now without Derrick Henry and Julio Jones. Patriots, man, I think I like them a lot in this game.
The other interesting game at noon, Buccaneers at Colts.
There are some good games. Huh?
Right, no, this is a great lineup of games.
I feel like the Bucs got back on the right track last night, the way they looked, getting Gronkowski back. I don't know when Antonio Brown's supposed to be back, but I think just having Gronk in the lineup, I think this is a good one for the Bucs.
The MVP award seems to always go to a quarterback. Should Jonathan Taylor be involved in the conversation?
He's mine right now. My top two guys right now are Jonathan Taylor and Kirk Cousins. With Brady
Look at
3.
Jake. Look at Jake right now.
He loves Kirk
We woke him up.
Is that?
Big win for them. They're going to be.
Is he not like Kirk Cousins?
Oh, he loves
He
him.
loves him.
Really?
They're going to be
That's
on the
his guy.
road
21-2.
The Vikings will be on the road at the Niners. The Niners, they're schizophrenic, right?
They're 5-5 now.
Yeah, so they're hanging right there. This is not at prime time, so Kirk Cousins can win this game. Can they go out there and win this one on the road?
Yeah. You look at their offense right now.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the NFL right now, and then Adam Thielen's still
doing his
pretty
deal.
good. Dalvin Cook's healthy. And Kirk Cousins, I keep saying it, 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And no one's talking about him as the MVP.
You are.
I am.
You're doing
I'm starting
it right
the bandwagon
Man on an island right here.
Yeah, so,
I'm hopping on.
2-man island.
Hey, if they get in the playoffs, he's going to be, and he keeps playing the way he's been playing.
They just want that, they want that noon window is what they want. They
So
don't
you
want
got
that
the
late
Vikings.
night game.
Yeah, I'll take the Vikings.
Okay, another really good game in the NFC. Rams at Packers.
I'll be at that game.
Oh.
And I don't know, man. I feel like the Packers. Aaron Rodgers' toes all messed up, but I feel like in that environment, being up there, it's a different story. And I feel like the way the Rams have gotten pushed around the last couple of games, I'm not crazy about them right now. Until I see differently, I'll go with the Packers.
Sunday Night Football is pretty interesting. The Ravens had a struggle without Lamar last week. They barely beat the Bears. Browns are a mess. They're not great, but they've got a good roster. Forget about the quarterback situation. They got a good roster. This is Chiefs fans be rooting for the Browns because they need the Ravens to hang an L. But I don't think the Browns have what it takes to go there and win this one on Sunday night.
They're kind of lost right now, largely because the quarterback's lost. And I don't know how much longer you can hang your head on that. That will be interesting to follow in the next couple of weeks if they keep trotting him out there, playing the way he's playing, all beat up. If they just don't say, "Hey, Case Keenum, put you out there and let's sit Baker for a little bit and see what happens," because they are really,
healthy.
Yeah. I mean, he's just not, he's just not getting it done. And so against even the Ravens with their defensive issues, and they've given up a lot of yards to a lot of different quarterbacks, I don't see where I think Lamar Jackson comes back and gets it done. That team is as good as it gets when the going gets tough. So I'll go Baltimore.
What about Chargers at Broncos?
Chargers.
Come on.
Chargers. I mean, all you have to know about the Broncos is 2 weeks ago we were talking about Teddy Bridgewater, like basically running from a tackle,
right?
As if it was like a oncoming bus on the freeway. And Patrick Mahomes threw a pick in that game. He's diving at the guy's legs trying to get him down. That's the difference between winning and losing.
Now, really, more importantly, the game. 11 bells. Ohio State bringing their big puffed-out chest up into Ann Arbor.
Ohio
to the big
State
house.
favored by 8.
8. What do you think, Jake? Is that too much?
I think I would lean Michigan in the points in this one.
What's your favorite Jim Harbaugh win over Ohio State?
Wow.
Sure.
Back when he was playing 86. He threw a touchdown pass to John Colasar. That's right, when I was 15 years old.
Okay, be honest. Because you talk about how, with the NFL, you're not a fan, so you can see things objectively. But what would this mean to you if Michigan beat Ohio State in a game of this magnitude where they're both battling for the college football playoffs?
See, I'm more...
Show your love for something
I'm
here.
the same way with Michigan as I am with everything else. Like I'm realistic about it.
You're expecting them to lose, aren't you?
So,
be honest.
They've lost, only beat them one time in the last 15 years, something like that, 16
But
years.
wouldn't that make it so much sweeter if they won this
I'm
game?
happy that they were 2-4 last year. They were abysmal. It was a lousy year. If they lose, they'll probably end up still going to the Rose Bowl. So, would it be great to see them win and get a chance to the college football playoff and the Big Ten championship game? Because they haven't done that ever, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was about to say since.
You just haven't done that.
Ever.
Hard stop.
I'd rather see them than Ohio. I'm tired of Ohio
Would
State.
you be sad for that
happy.
jackleg Ohio State guy who wears that big necklace of Buckeyes? Would you feel bad for him?
I would not feel bad about it. But this is their best shot. I'll say that. This is their best shot. They've got a really good defense. I think they finally got a quarterback they trust. I think they're getting healthy at the right time. Harbaugh deserves credit for what he's done with the staff.
If they win this game, let's go if, and then they're going to probably have to play Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
In the title game. If they win those two games, does this team deserve to be in the college football playoff?
Oh, they'll be in.
Over Cincinnati.
Yeah. If they win those two games, they'll be the number 2 seed. They'll be. Well, Alabama's going to lose to Georgia anyway, so
Done.
yeah. So they'd be number 2.
And who will they play as the 3? Could be anything.
Could be.
He wants you to say Oklahoma.
No, Oklahoma.
Everybody but Oklahoma.
He's fishing for Oklahoma.
How's Oklahoma?
Oklahoma
is
that's what
not?
you wanted him to say.
I'm
They're
guessing-
not
I know what
beating.
you're doing.
I'm guessing Cincinnati, right? Since they beat Notre Dame, it'd be Cincinnati and Notre Dame would be the top 4.
I know what you're doing.
So what?
There's no route for Oklahoma to get in there.
No.
over Notre Dame, is
Then
there?
the 2-loss Alabama team gets to be the 4 seed.
Yeah, they're getting bounced. They're going to get dusted by that. I feel as good about that game as I felt about the Cowboys beating the Chiefs.
Bama may lose to Auburn this
I was
week.
wrong
Who knows?
about that, but
I don't think so.
Battle lines,
think
Missouri,
it's
Arkansas, real quick. Go.
Oh,
Missouri,
stop.
Arkansas. Who's winning?
Arkansas.
Oh,
Todd, will
he
you
just did
shut
that
up?
to you.
Everyone have a great day right here on Sports Radio 810 WHP.